What up, world? Welcome to another episode of the Brandon Janeau Show. As you know, I am Brandon Janeau, like always on all podcast platforms everywhere. Brandon Janeau Show. Social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Threads. Wait, Instagram, Threads, Brandon Janeau. Um, Facebook, The Brandon Janeau Show. And TikTok, Brandon Janeau Show. But really where you can go is the YouTube channel, man. Brandon Janeau Show on YouTube. Uh, yeah. Hope you guys enjoy this episode because you already know what it is, man. You already know what it is. It is officially Tuesday, which means it's I believe sports. Craziness, craziness, craziness throughout sports this week. Of course, the Super Bowl happened this past Sunday. I will be talking about that. Canelo Alvarez backed out of a fight, then took another fight that a lot of people was just like, what the wait, what? And then he backed out of that fight and gave us four fights. I will talk about that. And of course, the trade deadline is officially over. Over. The trade deadline is officially over in the NBA. Who has now the edge in the NBA moving forward after the trade deadline? I'll talk about that. But let's start it off with the NFL. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, before I get into the Super Bowl halftime show, Super Bowl, Kellen Moore, offensive coordinator of the Eagles, is officially the New Orleans Saints' new head coach. Everybody knows I am a Saints fan. I'll be talking about that more when I come back. Bleed black and gold. But here's the thing: Kellen Moore does not bring one person from the Eagles. He doesn't bring AJ Brown. He doesn't bring Devontae Smith. He doesn't bring Saquon Barkley, which I'm not. You got Evan Kamara, so I'm not ready to. You know, but you don't bring anybody from the. You don't bring Dallas Goddard. You damn sure don't bring the Eagles offensive line. You don't bring anything from you don't bring anything from from Philly. And then today, on top of that, you just announced that also Brandon Staley is gonna be a fucking defensive coordinator. Like, oh good God Almighty, just fucking hit me in the face already with this bullshit season that we're about to have. Brandon Staley sucks as a defensive coordinator. Man was the head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers and barely couldn't fucking call defense as the head fucking coach. The man got the job, but it's not that hard to, like I've always said, it's not that fucking hard to coach a team with a defense on it with Aaron Donald, Leonard Floyd, Jalen Ramsey. Fuck. It's not that fucking hard. Von Miller. It's not that hard to coach defense like that. It's not that fucking hard. It's damn near impossible to lose games with that type of defense. It's damn near impossible. He gets credit for that Super Bowl for no reason at all. He has done absolutely nothing to get any of that credit. You saw him with the Chargers for the last what 4 years, 3.5 years, some shit like that. His defense was literally bottom of the fucking league. It's funny that Jim Harbaugh comes back to the NFL. I mean, John Harbaugh comes back to the NFL. No, that was right. Jim Harbaugh comes back to the NFL, gets the job with the Chargers, and the defense immediately is in the top 10. I'm sorry, what? Immediately is in the top 10. Jim Harbaugh took your talent that you've had for the last 3.5 years, took that talent, and immediately got them in the top 10 of defense. That's our new defensive coordinator. The Saints are fucking. The Saints are fucked. The Saints are fucked. I'm trying. Listen, I'm not even gonna sit up here and play. I've already told y'all at the end of Bleed Black and Gold. I've even said it on this show. The Saints moving forward. Fuck. The Saints moving forward, bro. I've literally said this. Kellen Moore got the job. Kellen Moore, congratulations. But bro, you want me to be honest with you, bro? Kellen Moore is gonna get fired in 2.5 years. Fired in 2.5 years. Depending on how the offense looks, if the offense can at least, you know, score and look good, he might keep it past that. But he 2.5 years. I give him 2.5 years. I was surprised they fired him after next year, depending on how the offense looks. We have no offensive line. Our quarterback does not fit Kellen Moore's style of play calling. Except if you firing Kellen Moore, you're probably going to hire, you know, Spencer Rattler. And you're going to let Spencer Rattler be the starting quarterback, I guess. Do your thing with that. But yeah, this is a terrible, terrible, terrible situation. I am not a huge fan of either of these situations. I know a lot of people are sitting up there thinking I'm crazy for even having this type of, you know, mindset or whatever the case may be. But yeah, man, I'm not too wrapped up in the mindset of thinking like, oh yeah, this is gonna be a great situation for the Saints. It's not. I saw immediately after the Eagles won the championship, I saw so many people being like, oh man, the Eagles, man, they got the number one, they got the offensive coordinator of the Super Bowl champions, and I immediately was like, we're not bringing in none of those players that the Eagles have. We don't have no AJ Brown coming to us. We don't have Devontae Smith coming to us. We don't have any of that shit. What are we cheering here? This offense of the Saints is nothing like the Eagles. We have the offensive line. We don't have the receiving core. We don't have the running back room. We don't have the tight ends. Like we don't have nothing. What the fuck are you happy about? I don't understand this. Again, you living in the fucking moment. Get out your fucking moment. Let's be 100, my nigga. We have none of that shit. Maybe we draft a kid from Boise State, Austin Gentry. Maybe we draft Austin Gentry, but I don't think he fits the team. What the fuck do you do with Alvin Kamara if you draft him? What do you do? It's like, bro, I get that. We need a receiver. We need a number two. We need tight end. We need offensive line help. We need a lot of shit offensively. Not to mention defensively. What we also need. Yeah, this shit, bro. We're old. We're old. We're fucking old. Our cap space is going to probably have to come down. You're going to have to restructure some shit. But when you hear your starting quarterback and Derek Carr literally sit there and say, I'm not going to restructure my deal. Then what the fuck are you there for, bro? You just now taking our money and we getting no results from it. I get that you signed a contract and that money's yours, but you just pretty much put yourself in front of the team. Now, maybe later on he changes his mind and maybe he says, you know what, I was tripping. It's the better the team. I don't know where the reports came from. I never said that. Whatever the case may be, do whatever. But at the end of the day, bro, I don't want to hear that shit. Cause you said what you said. I don't want to hear that shit. Congratulations to Kellen Moore for getting a job with the Saints. I'm happy for you. But you're gonna be a head coach for what? 2 years. 2 years. They're gonna be looking for a new head coach in 2.5 years. I'm just telling the truth. Because that team has nothing. I've watched my Saints these last couple years. They are getting old, and the money is drying the fuck up. What are we doing this for? I would not be surprised if Alvin Kamara ends up in a trading block at some point. I would not be surprised. Reason why is because I wouldn't want to be there. As much as I love the team and the organization, I wouldn't want to fucking be there. I wouldn't want to fucking be there. If I could say that about the Jets and the Giants and the Cowboys and all these other teams, why would I not say that about my team? I'm not gonna sit there and lie. If you don't see no change and you think it's getting worse, get the fuck out of there, man. Fuck out of there. Speaking of the Super Bowl, now a couple weeks ago, I did this show and I said I can see the Eagles easily blowing out the Kansas City Chiefs. Boy was I right. Lord Jesus. Boy was I right. The Eagles put full belt to ass on the Kansas City Chiefs this past Sunday in the Super Bowl. Full belt to ass. Full belt to ass. Full BTA. Full belt to ass. They didn't even hide it. They didn't even hide that ass whooping. They put that ass whooping on full display for everybody to see and get their kicks in. Um, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. Everything I said was pretty much going to happen in that game happened in that game. Kansas City's offense looked completely and utterly overpowered by the Eagles' defensive line. The fact that the Eagles didn't even blitz and they got like 5, 6 sacks on Patrick Mahomes should tell you all you need to know. You moved the guard to tackle and thought that shit was just gonna walk out of there and win that game. That's fucking stupid. That's just fucking dumb. That's just fucking stupid. That's just fucking dumb. That offensive line of Kansas City just did not look good. It didn't. Um, Kansas City got lucky in a lot of these games, and the more people sit there and say, "No, they didn't," yeah, they did. They got lucky in a lot of these games. From the beginning of the season to pretty much the AFC Championship game, they got fucking lucky. A lot of breaks broke their way for them to get to that point in the season, but they couldn't hide it anymore. That offensive line got fucking shredded by that defensive line of the Eagles. When I started to see Nolan Smith and Josh Sweat and Jalen Carter and all them was starting to just push through the first drive of the game, you should have just already put that shit in the box. It was over. Because, and I told my brother Juan this today when we did our show. Patrick Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes, when he threw that interception, that's the pick six, you can see, you can physically see, because before he threw that pick six, he got sacked not once but twice. It was a 3rd and 16. He finally got out the pocket just enough. And as soon as he got out of the pocket, Cooper DeJean is sitting, looking at him, and all he had to do was just step and get the pick and just run. He was watching his eyes the whole time. Patrick Mahomes threw the ball literally to him. Cooper DeJean was watching him the whole time. That's a bit like you watch that game like you were just sitting there like, yeah, that makes sense. But because it was the Kansas City Chiefs, nobody wanted to outwardly say that. But I said that shit. I said this shit 2 weeks ago on this show. I said this is gonna be a blowout. I said it's gonna remind a lot of people of the Denver Broncos Seattle Seahawks game. And this is for most of the game exactly what the fuck happened. It felt like the it felt like Seattle Denver. Just a lot of people trying to justify why the Kansas City Chiefs just couldn't get over the hump. They got outplayed before the offense of the Eagles to really even get out the gate. It felt like the Seattle Denver game, where the Seattle Seahawks defense was on the field way more than the offense at some points of the time. And then when they finally did get on the field, Seattle's offense got on the field, it was like, oh, all right, well, we just don't have to fuck up the game plan. Okay, cool. Keep it simple. Because the defense is clearly winning. We just got to keep it simple. But it didn't stop Jalen Hurts from doing what Jalen Hurts has done. And I love seeing aftermaths of games because people get overreactive. You got people apologizing to Jalen Hurts saying, "Oh man, maybe I was tripping. Maybe I was just doing too much. Oh man, I was tripping." Yes, motherfucker, you were tripping. You clearly did not see that this man was one of the best quarterbacks in the NFC. I said this shit literally last fucking week on this show. I literally said Jalen Hurts is literally the best quarterback in the NFC. Just because he doesn't have the jump off the screen Patrick, Lamar, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen talent like that, or even Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels jumps off the screen with his accuracy and his ability to make plays and his ability to just go out there and do his thing. But what Jalen Hurts has is the intangibles. The man can fucking just go out there and play. He doesn't put himself in any position to fuck up the game plan. And that to me is way more fucking important for a team like the Eagles that has the offensive line, you have the running game, you have the receivers, and you have the tight end. Why fuck up the game plan? You don't need to overdo it. That's the problem with people nowadays. We think quarterbacks are supposed to go out there and be the fucking star every day. No, if you could just make the one or the two plays, you can easily win these games. That's what the fuck Patrick Mahomes has done for most of the season. He's not asked to do crazy ass, over the top things. All he's asked to do is just make one or two plays when it's close in the game. Make one or two plays. Boom. Hit the play. That's it. I don't need to do over the top shit. Just do one or two plays and we're good. That's Jalen Hurts. That's Jalen Hurts. Just because you haven't seen it, that's Jalen Hurts, man. For the second straight Super Bowl that he's been in, he's played Patrick Mahomes, and he has easily outplayed Patrick Mahomes. That Super Bowl was exactly what I expected. I am not surprised at all that the Eagles went out there and beat the living hell out of the Kansas City Chiefs. Not at all. The referees swallowed the whistle because they had to. They had to. They, as much as people want to sit there and act like it had nothing, they had to swallow the whistle. Even though the Eagles got penalized way more, it wasn't like crazy penalized to the point where you saw it and you could easily say they made a difference in the game. It never was going to make a difference in the game because the Kansas City Chiefs offensive line couldn't stop the defensive line of the Eagles. It never made a difference. That game plan. My brother Juan said this earlier about Steve Spagnuolo, where the game plan was so predicated, and which I pretty much knew it was going to be predicated on stopping Saquon. They really didn't have a game plan if Jalen Hurts got going with the running game. If Jalen Hurts started to run the ball, if Jalen Hurts started to kill you in man-to-man coverage, how do we stop this? They never really had a game plan for that because everything was centered around stopping Saquon. Something else they just didn't do. For the first time in a long time, Andy Reid got out coached. Andy Reid got out coached, ladies and gentlemen. Now we could blame that on Matt Nagy because he's the offensive coordinator or whatever the case may be. But Andy Reid had 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And I've been hearing for years how Andy Reid off of buys is just so much better than everybody else. You got out coached by Nick Sirianni. You had no game plan. Once they stopped, once they once you went down, you had no game plan. Your offensive line could not stop the Eagles' offensive line. Patrick Mahomes looked like a shell of himself for another Super Bowl. Your offense, your weapons of the offense outside of Xavier Worthy, nobody did anything, and that's including Patrick Mahomes. Nobody did anything. It was just embarrassing to watch the Kansas City Chiefs get their ass whooped like that. I wouldn't say embarrassing. It warmed my heart. Totally warmed my heart, but it definitely warmed a lot of people's hearts in America that watch football. That was like definitely wanted the Kansas City Chiefs to get their ass whooped. But this is the thing, man. That blowout. Andy Reid got out fucking coached, and he didn't even have a game plan. They couldn't run the ball. Patrick Mahomes barely hit targets early in that game. He got overpowered. He got over. He tried to force the passes again. Once he went down by 17, he I've never seen this though. Patrick Mahomes, when he went down by 17, he got flustered. The pressure was on, and he played like the pressure was on. So he was starting to force a lot of passes. He was starting to try to do too much. He couldn't get himself engaged. The defensive line was absolutely wrecking the offensive line of Kansas City Chiefs. So he couldn't really set his feet to really get the passes off. For the first time in a long time, you saw Patrick Mahomes act for the first time in fucking a long, yeah, since maybe Super Bowl. What's the Super Bowl they played Tampa in? Super Bowl 50 something. I can't even remember the number now. But that game, that was the last time I saw Patrick Mahomes just literally look like just like I can't do anything. There's nothing here. I can't do anything. They ran the ball what 7 times in the game, bro. That felt like a Saints Tampa Bay game. That felt like a Saints Tampa Bay game where the offensive line of the Kansas City Chiefs just kept getting outpowered. They can't move the ball, and now you're putting your quarterback in a situation where he's got to overthink the situation. It was bad, man. It was a bad game. It was a bad game from it was a bad game all around for the Kansas City Chiefs. The defense played as hard as they could, but then once they kind of like once the league got away, it was over. Once the lead got away, it was over. Once, 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 Cooper DeJean caught the touchdown, bring it back, put it up 16, 17-0. They couldn't move the ball, gave it right back to the Eagles. Once the Eagles started to get rolling kind of offensively, it was over. Jalen Hurts started to hit passes. Once he started doing back shoulder passes to A.J. Brown on Trent McDuffie, who was your best cornerback, once he started hitting back shoulder passes, what can you do? You got the ball. The Eagles go, 3 and out. They give you the ball, and you throw a pick the first damn play of the first play of the drive. You throw a pick. They get it back on the field. He has A.J. Brown, who's wide the fuck open, and scores a touchdown. And you just sitting there like, what, when Jake Elliott is hitting 50-yard field goals, the pressure was off. Like the Eagles' offense felt no pressure the rest of the game. The pressure was off. They knew the defense was going to stop you. The pressure was off. I've never seen Andy Reid. I've never seen Andy Reid get out coached like that. His offense just looked like they didn't even want to be there. They looked like they didn't even want to be there. The team, like I said, outside of the defense, the offense just looked like they didn't want to be there. Andy Reid got out coached. I never thought in a million years I would see Andy Reid get out coached like that. He got fucking out coached. That shit was fucking bad. That was a bad. Ooh. Andy, and which brings me to Patrick Mahomes. Everybody's legacy gets looked at differently now after that game. Travis Kelce, Chris Jones. I wouldn't even say Chris Jones, but Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Andy Reid, the people that's been given so much respect and so much love for the dynasty that the Kansas City Chiefs have had. Patrick Mahomes' legacy gets looked at different. Travis Kelce's legacy gets looked at differently. Andy Reid's legacy gets looked at now differently. I was ready to call him probably the greatest head coach ever if he would have won this Super Bowl. Definitely in the conversation with Bill Belichick. He's now the forward, got 4 rings? Yeah, yeah. But this has officially affected Patrick Mahomes' legacy. I said this earlier. The Patrick Mahomes kind of feels more. We could end this he's Michael Jordan debate. He's not. Or in this NFL case, Tom Brady debate. He's Kobe. He's Kobe. Nothing wrong with Kobe. Nothing wrong with being Kobe. And then I thought about it. He's more Steph Curry. He's Steph Curry. And the reason why I say he's Steph Curry is because no matter how great Steph Curry is in the regular season, when it comes to the postseason, he has lackluster games in the playoffs. He just does. Outside of maybe that Boston series where he kind of showed up, and even in that sense, Jordan Poole kind of did more of the heavy lifting in certain games in that NBA Finals than Steph Curry. Got the rings, but when it comes to the big game, he just doesn't have it. Patrick Mahomes has played in what, 5 Super Bowls? I cannot tell you one game where he was the best quarterback on the field. Maybe the first one he ever played in, which was San Francisco. That might be it. That might be it. That might be the only game where Patrick Mahomes was actually the better quarterback on the field. That might be it. Even last year when he played against San Francisco, I wouldn't say he's the best. He was the best quarterback. I mean, Kyle Shanahan just never let the handcuffs off of Brock Purdy. He just never was going to let the handcuffs off of Brock Purdy. So I don't know if he really was the best quarterback. Because if he would have just let the man play his game, I'm pretty sure Brock Purdy outplays Patrick Mahomes in that game. Sorry to say that to a lot of people out there that wants to sit there and act like he would. He probably outplays Patrick Mahomes in that game. But just Kyle Shanahan would just not let the handcuffs off of Brock Purdy. But he got absolutely destroyed against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That shit was not even a close. That shit was a massacre that day. I remember sitting there with my dad and my uncle and my brother and my niece, and we were just watching the game, and being like, "Ooh, shit, this is bad." Ooh, shit, this is bad. He got outplayed. He got out massively played. What's the other games? He got outplayed by Jalen Hurts, but he won. But he got severely outplayed by Jalen Hurts in that Super Bowl. The only game I will give you is the first Super Bowl he ever played in. That's it. That's the only Super Bowl I will ever give you. Is that he played San Francisco and he outplayed Jimmy Garoppolo, which is really not that fucking hard to do. But yeah, man, this was bad, man. This was bad, man. This was bad, man. Um, his legacy gets looked at differently. Andy Reid's legacy gets looked at differently. It does. He's been now to also. This was Andy Reid's sixth Super Bowl, sixth Super Bowl as a head coach. Five with Kansas City, one with the Eagles. He's 3-3. He's 3-3. He lost to the Patriots in '04. He lost to and now he's lost to the Eagles this year. He lost to Tampa a couple years ago. His legacy gets looked at differently. You got out coached by a head coach that, let's be real, I've even said that I didn't see as special. Nick Sirianni, I, I joke with my brother Juan, and I still joke to this day that there's no way in hell, there's no way in hell that Nick Sirianni coached the Eagles. The Eagles coached this. Them players played despite of Nick Sirianni. Yeah, them players played in spite of Nick Sirianni. But he got out. But he outcoached Andy Reid. He outcoached Andy Reid, man. Andy Reid and him both had 2 weeks to prepare, and Andy Reid had no game plan. He had no other game plan for that defense. Nothing. You got to coach, man. You got to coach. And when he's been outcoached, it's been severely outcoached. It's like, whoa, that's not good. And you can blame the offensive line for the two losses in Kansas City, which I know a lot of people will. They would easily jump out there and say, "Oh man, the offensive line was actually healthy. They would have absolutely fuck out of here." Andy Reid has known that that offensive line was not great for the entire fucking season. There's no way around that shit now. You can't turn that around and now say, "Oh man, the offensive line just no, no." You've known that offensive line has sucked for the entire year. You've been very fortunate to get out of those games. The first time you get into a game where the refs didn't help you and your offensive line kept getting pushed back into Patrick Mahomes' face, you lost. And you didn't just lose, you got your ass whooped. You didn't just lose, you got your ass whooped. Belt to ass, full flash. And Travis Kelce legacy gets looked at differently. This postseason, outside of the Houston Texans game, he did absolutely nothing. He did nothing. He didn't do shit the entire postseason. The Buffalo Bills game, he had 2 receptions for 16 yards. This Super Bowl, he had 4 receptions for 39 yards. He didn't do shit. He didn't do shit. And no matter how people want to slice it and dice it and flip it, Travis Kelsey's legacy may really. Travis Kelsey's legacy is done. What he is what he is. Do I think he needs to retire? Yeah, I think it's over. I think it's over because you're not having a regular season success like you used to, and now you're not having the postseason success like you used to. What are you there for? What are you there for? What are you there for? Just to be a decoy? It's pretty much what you're there for now. Just to be a fucking decoy. There's nothing more, nothing less. You're there just to be a fucking decoy. So yeah, yeah. I, if I was Travis Kelsey, just 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 hang it up. You got the rings, you got the fame. What are you still doing it for? What are you still doing it for? And next year is gonna be even harder for you to get into football shape. So good luck with that. The team that actually won, the Philadelphia Eagles, 40-22. Really, it wasn't 40-22. Despite what the scoreboard says, that was the ass whooping. Full belt to ass. Full flash belt to ass. Of course, after the Super Bowl, like I always say, of course, after the Super Bowl, what's the first thing they ask? Oh man, is this gonna be more? Is this gonna be some now? Is this the new dynasty? Is it no? It's not. I don't think the Eagles or the Chiefs can get to the Super Bowl next year. If I had to pick, I would say probably the Chiefs. I know a lot of people think I'm crazy for saying the Chiefs will get to the Super Bowl faster than the Eagles, especially in the AFC. But the Eagles actually have to go through fuller teams that pride themselves on defense and special teams and head coaching. And the Eagles actually have to go through real, actual teams. Where the Kansas City Chiefs just got to survive the quarterback ring. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, CJ Stroud. Like, you know what I mean? But Philly has to go through actual physical teams. This is why I say that the Eagles will have a harder time to get back to the Super Bowl. Despite having a really good offensive line, still having the weapons. You got to also realize Kellen Moore is now gone, who brought a lot of oomph to that offense. So who's calling plays for Philly next year? Because the damn sure can't be Nick Sirianni. So who called the plays for Philly next motherfucking year? Because when he called plays last year, he fucking sucked. He wasn't good. So who's calling plays for Philly next year? That's why I say Philly is in a really bad situation. So do I think Philly's off? Do I think Philly is going to reel off becoming out a new dynasty in the NFL? No, they're not. Philly's not going to reel off and become the new dynasty in the NFL. That's not happening. I think Philly's good. I think Philly can play, but I think Philly's going to become the new dynasty. Again, you just lost your offensive coordinator who really helped your team. But yeah, this is the reason why I feel like Philly is not going to turn into this new dynasty. They're a good team. They're going to be in a conversation. But if Washington defensively gets good, that offensive line of Washington gets fixed, Detroit's defense comes back healthy and ready to play and get engaged, that offense of Detroit is still a weapon around weapons. Yeah, Green Bay, if they can fix their defensive woes and get their offensive line up to par and also get Jordan Love an actual number one fucking target, despite what Minnesota looks like offensively and defensively in the next couple, this upcoming season, yeah, Philly's gonna have a harder time to get back to the fucking Super Bowl than Kansas City will. That's just me. I don't think this is a new dynasty. I think Philly's gonna give you a hell of a year for the next couple of years, but losing Kellen Moore is a very huge thing. That's a very huge thing. That offense of the Philadelphia Eagles, it's been a minute, man. Who's gonna call these plays for you? Because now you gotta go look for a new offensive coordinator. I know damn well, like I said, it ain't gonna be Nick Sirianni. But congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles. Congratulations. Trade deadline. Some teams are now playing. Starting to see some teams play with their new players. You have Jimmy Butler going to Golden State. Last week I talked about how I thought the Phoenix Suns and the Phoenix Suns and the Miami Heat, should probably trade Kevin Durant for Jimmy Butler. But instead, you have now, Jimmy Butler getting traded to Golden State, which is a very interesting thing to do. You have, of course, Anthony Davis and Luca both finally debuting. Anthony Davis debuted Saturday, Sunday, and already got fucking injured. Just ridiculous, man. Luca played last night for the Lakers on a minute restriction. Kyle Kuzma ended up getting traded from the Washington Wizards to the Milwaukee Bucks. De'Aaron Fox has played a couple games now for San Antonio since getting traded from the Sacramento Kings. What do I think? What do I think of all of these trades? What do I think is gonna? Who now has the edge out of all of these teams? Who has now the edge out of all these teams? Go to State. Go to State. It's not just because I'm a Go to State fan, but I'm looking at this and I'm saying to myself, man, Jimmy Butler, he gets in the playoffs, he gonna take care of his business. He was uninspired being in Miami. Clearly, something went on in Miami that he just didn't want to be there anymore. But you put him in Golden State with Steve Kerr, Steph Curry, Draymond Green. That team, that's a fucking scary feeling because those guys. Jimmy Butler does not have the ring, but he's got the playoff acumen and the playoff skill. If he gets in, that Golden State team is a dangerous fucking team because none of those players, Draymond, Jimmy, none of them are going to give up and they're not going to give in. That is the problem. I still think Dallas is really good. I know the fans in Dallas are crying, boo fucking who. Dallas to me has still got a better chance of getting to the fucking finals than the fucking Lakers do. Fuck out of here, dude. Yeah. I think the Warriors have a chance. If the Warriors could turn it around, I think the Warriors turn it around the next couple of months. In a couple of weeks, they're gonna be this team gonna be dangerous. If they stay healthy, that's a dangerous fucking team. Dangerous fucking team. They better not get. And here's the thing: the West is very jammed, very tight. Shit could get interesting real fucking fast in the West. Don't be surprised if they'll go. You look up and go to state on like a 10-game winning streak, and you just like, what the fuck happened? Because they were always good. They just needed the pieces. And when you got Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and now Jimmy fucking Butler, who has something to prove, you gave Jimmy Butler another chip on his shoulder. You don't think that shit's gonna come back and folds? Before I end this, Canelo Alvarez. Canelo, so he's fighting Terrence Crawford in September. Then he pulled out the deal, said he was gonna fight Jake Paul. Then he pulls out that deal, and then he has and then he announces a 4-fight deal with Turkey Al Sheikh, Riyadh season. Okay, okay, okay. I don't really know who his first opponent is, but he is fighting Terrence Crawford this September. Great. The two other fights, I don't know who he's gonna fight. Now, some people are saying, "Oh, he's gonna probably just go and fight." He's gonna fight one of the light heavyweights. Possibly. Do I think he moves up to light heavyweight to fight? We shall see. We don't even know what's gonna happen in the Terrence Crawford fight just to be like, oh yeah, he's just gonna go wipe through. Now here's the thing. I think he beats Terrence Crawford. I think he easily beats Terrence Crawford. I'm not gonna sit up here acting like I think he beats Terrence Crawford. I think he beats him. I think he does. Terrence Crawford isn't gonna take a warm up fight at 180, 168, 186. He's not gonna take a warm up fight. He's not gonna take any warm up fight. That's stupid. I think you should definitely take a fucking warm up fight. To be fighting in a super middleweight division, and you've only had one fight in the super middleweight division, and you think that shit is okay, cool. That's not a good idea, especially against a guy in Canelo Alvarez who's been fighting in the superweight division for like 4 or 5 years and has been the champion for like the 4 or 5 years. I don't think that's a good idea to just have one fight and that's it. And you're not gonna take any warm up fight. That is just fucking ridiculous. I don't understand that decision. I would take a warm up fight. I would take a warm up fight and fight somebody else. I would maybe kill a plant. Kill a plant wants to take the shot. Fight him maybe in. I mean, it's a little close to September, but fight him in. Fuck, if you could get it done fast enough, April, May gives you enough time to fight somebody that's been in the middleweight division. Yeah, 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 yeah. I don't know, but Canelo taking a 4 fight deal with Turkey Alex Sheik, Riyadh season, great, awesome. The first fight, it's a tune up. I'm not really that intrigued by it. The Crawford fight is gonna be awesome to see. But the next two fights after the Crawford fight, let's say he loses to Crawford, does he not want a rematch? If he beats Crawford, does he now move up to light heavyweight and fight Bivol or Benavidez or Benavidez? David Benavidez? Because at that time, maybe David Benavidez wins the light heavyweight championship or at least competes for it. We shall see. But and I think him teasing the Jake Paul fight, I think that's a real thing. I think he might take it. I'm happy Canelo Alvarez is finally not going to run from these fights. And he's actually going to take these fights because I get it. I understand the reasoning behind why you decided to, use the leverage you had to kind of get a better deal. 100% respect. But at the same time, let's not act like you getting that opportunity. Let's not act like you haven't, had moments where you chose not to fight certain people. So hopefully this happens and you take these fights. Crawford is first. That's the only fight that everybody's intrigued by anyway. Crawford is first. And after that, do you move up to light heavyweight division? And if so, who the fuck do you fight? Because you got three contenders right now at the light heavyweight division. And of course, not this Saturday coming, but the next Saturday is the rematch of Bivol and Arthur Benavidez. So Bivol and Bedav are about to fight for the second straight time. And if Bivol beats him this time, David Benavidez sits in the back because I'm pretty sure there's going to be a trilogy. So that's a trilogy now. So when the fuck does that happen? Does that happen in September? Does it happen in September? Does it happen in November? October, November? When does it happen? December? That's a trilogy. So yeah, yeah. But other than that, um, next week I'll talk about the All Star Weekend because that actually All Star Weekend is this weekend. How do I feel about the All Star Weekend before I get off here? I don't give a fuck. I don't care. They got a three-team now. Shaq, Charles, Charles, and Kenny have three teams. The format of the All Star Weekend, NBA All Star Weekend. Look, they fucked this All Star Weekend. The way the All Star Weekend used to be when I was a kid, you used to look forward to that whole week. That whole week used to be iconic. Now it's just some shit you just watch because it's there. I'm not watching All Star Game this Sunday. To be honest with you, I'm gonna go see Captain America. I'm probably gonna go see Captain America this Sunday. I'll be in the movie theaters. Uh, I'll be in the movie theaters Saturday, Sunday. I'm not watching that shit. But yeah, that's neither here nor there, man. So yeah, this is I Believe Sports. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. See y'all next week. Peace.